Arith, Obsolete Wonder Woman 5, the most controversial series I review, blindly loyal shill fanboys, 8 that I even talk about it, 8 as 8 that I don't shit on it, and my regular viewers don't give a rat's arse about watching my videos on it. I am trying to get caught up with this series, but at this rate, I will have been demoralised by doing videos on it by then. Okay, cover and Nemesis, a lasso type weapon. We'll come to that. And I hated the end of last issue. It was unsatisfying and embarrassingly lackluster. I was right to withhold my feelings a bit because the Tetracide isn't dead yet. Our big monster wasn't defeated at the end of last issue, although it did seem that way. Last issue had Wonder Woman make a big sword even bigger. I think that's a bit dumb too. It's kinda stupid people entertainment, that. But the problem was, we then had a double splash page of her cutting the Tetracide in half. And then the issue ended. And the idea a reader is left with is that the Tetracide is thus dealt with. It has been killed. The issue ends without any hint or suggestion that the Tetracide remains a concern. That is basic reading comprehension. You end an issue that way, with one party dealt a blow like that. Ending the issue there acts as punctuation. It makes it appear a fatal blow. It makes us think that it means we are done, that the monster has been dealt with, the monster has been killed. I think you could link that to the ending of the first issue too. This story, it doesn't seem to be written with the consideration being for how breaking it up into 5 issues affects ideas or the communication of ideas. That we have had 2 out of 5 of the first issues, well, 3 out of 5 actually, spoilers for this one, end with a confused bit of information or misplaced story beats. It makes it clear to me this is both, it has been written as a story, and then when it came to dividing it up into 5 issues, there wasn't much change made. And when it comes to things being clear, there's also a few parts where I felt the art didn't telegraph what was necessary perfectly. The previous spread had this bit where the Tetracide redirects missiles, and it's not too clear. It looks like it is firing missiles. And then here we have a Pegasus destroying missiles. And I feel both these aren't that obvious with the pieces of art. Like here, the Pegasus is breathing fire in its direction, and then the next panel is doing almost all of the storytelling, when ideally that first panel should make it much more apparent that it is breathing fire on the missile rather than in the direction of the missile. You could read this and mistakenly think that it is just dodging the missile. It does seem like a very small nitpick, and when it comes to the art, well, you know, obsolete Superman is drawn by a total act fraud, who I have been calling a act fraud for years, and only I seem to be aware of how much of an act fraud he is. Every panel is from an angle. He has every character looking down at the floor or up at the sky, so that he can use foreshortening as an excuse to not have to draw all or correct faces and bodies. Every fucking page, every fucking panel, even the covers. Obsolete Batman as a very divisive artist, and I don't mind it too much, but they really do make Obsolete Wonder Woman's artist look like a master of the craft. I am trying to address some whining I have received about going soft on this series. It's mostly fine. I don't mind the script, typically. When it comes to writing, my chief problem is the pacing, and something that I will be talking about in the final pages of this issue. I hate these title spreads. Absolutely resent them. I think they are without a doubt the worst part of all 5 issues. But then, with Obsolete Wonder Woman, we always follow them up with the best bits, which are the backstory. We have Wonder Woman in Hell with Circa, and we do actually start to set up where my big criticism is going to be. Circa has made another weapon for Wonder Woman, another lasso. This one is green, and it has transmogrification powers, and Wonder Woman finds her new weapon cruel, and she doesn't like inflicting pain on her enemies. And just like last issue, I thought we were going down the route of establishing Circa is evil, but then it did the same thing where it seemed to be going that way deeply. It seemed inevitable. And then it's a 180, and it instead exposits how Circa is great because Wonder Woman taught her how to love and how to care. I like this stuff because it seems the most divergent part from the Wonder Woman mythos, and at the same time reinforcing the core idea of Wonder Woman as an agent of peace and love and shit like that. That's why I don't want to see Circa be evil again. I don't want her to break bad. We have an alternate version of her here that has truly reinvented the character and found a brilliant way to use her to solidify a core conceit of Wonder Woman's character. I've said I will try to enjoy these books while I can, and I tell you what, Circa Ganon evil, or full-on cackling RP evil, that will be one such point where I nope out and cannot take it anymore. This would be my biggest criticism of Obsolete Wonder Woman, however. The amount of arse pulls. Throughout the 5 issues, Wonder Woman has pulled out random magic and weapons that were only set up a few pages earlier. It's ironically the type of writing you would expect from something that was written issue by issue, instead of as one big story like I suspect it was. She uses a new lasso to transform herself into Medusa, the Medusa from Myth, a giant Medusa. And the one aspect I like is that it works against the Tetracide, because the Tetracide, of course, has so many eyes that it cannot help but look at Medusa, and so it is turned to stone. That part I like. I like that we are turning a thing from myth into an active weapon against a threat in a sensible way. I haven't read much Wonder Woman. That's why I wanted to get into Obsolete Wonder Woman. And that is part of why I am maybe enjoying Obsolete Wonder Woman. But regular Wonder Woman, even having not read much of her comics, I know she has her limits. We know what Wonder Woman is capable of. She has her lasso of truth. She can fly, sometimes. She is strong. She doesn't have a utility belt where she can pull out expertly specific solutions to any problems. This, unfortunately, feels like that. We have her whip out a new weapon or a new spell or whatever in nearly every issue. If we do max out here, that would maybe be okay. If we don't have any more Deus Ex Machina lassos or spells, it might be fine. But the way this story has gone, I have a feeling this might be a constant. There is an air of... Right, again, I will contend the scripting is mostly good. By the way, this scene, another pacing problem. This deserved maybe an extra page or two. Trying to get Wonder Woman back from her transformation into Medusa. There's also the premise for the book. I like the premise. Wonder Woman from Hell, circa. I thought the Tetracide was written up alright. Wonder Woman, outside of her powers, has been written well. What I will say is that there is a small amount of fan fiction standard creeping in. The Deus Ex Machinas, the supporting characters feel very fan fiction too. And we have our third naffed up ending. Cliffhanger is that the hand drags Wonder Woman into the ground. What's missing here is any context or clue. We need some element of tangible mystery or intrigue rather than just letting us react to the action. It could be anything. It could want her for anything. We need something to go on here. The next issue has a fill-in artist, so I am sure I will be getting comments saying they look shit too. I'm not getting up on an high horse again. People are entitled to not like any art or any artists, but I think you have to really have a familiarity with other art at the time to put things into perspective. Even just the other obsolete books, they will open your eyes to what bad current art is. God, I hate when I sound condescending or elitist. I was concerned with the end of last issue. That felt like stupid comics for dumb people. There I am again, sounding elitist. That stuff with a big sword, one shot in the Tetracide. That felt low IQ. I think that would have been a relatively fair moment for me to drop out. If that was when I stopped enjoying it. If I moved on to Obsolete Flask after that. But I knew it was part 4 of 5. Part 5 meant the story wasn't over. And I did think Part 5 was going to be Fallout. It will be dealing with all the fallout from the story. That is a favourite of a lot of modern decompression era writers. I am glad that it wasn't. It did undo some of my stronger disappointment with issue 4. There is still problems with it and problems with the book as a whole, but we are not as close to the end for me as I thought we were last issue. I'll give this issue 7 sudden Deus Ex Machinas up.